Allen. I'm very happy to have you with me today to have the podcast interview. This is, I think we had at the beginning of your term, and now we have at the end of your term. And this is, we are with Allen Ang, the past immediate district director, 2020-2021, District 87, and I am Ronawati Wongso, your host. So welcome, Allen, and I'm very to have you again after you completed your district director term. And how do you feel? Because you just completed, how do you feel?
Thank you, Rona, for the invitations again. Hi, everyone. I think, it is just done with the term. I think most people, most district directors that I know around the world, every one of them were like, we're finally done with it. Yeah, they feel relief and all this. But for me, I felt slightly different. I feel quite blessed looking back at what happened over the last 12 months. I felt relief, of course. Right now, we have another team coming in to assist, to lead the district. But also at the same time, I'm still not totally out of the picture. I still have one more year to serve as the immediate past, where it's also a very important role. So there is no feeling of fear of missing out at this moment right now. It's just feeling blessed, grateful that we are able to finish the whole term. And this is currently not on the holiday mode yet, maybe another 12 months.
Okay, so because you're still assisting, but at least the responsibility is not on your shoulder, but you are just as an advisor and assistant to the present district director. Okay.
Yeah, different roles already.
Different roles. Okay, let me refresh. What was your vision when you become a district director?
Yeah, when I was first introduced as a district director, I think a lot of people asked me as well, what was my vision? And at that time, I remember telling everybody the vision was to align with Toastmasters' international vision, which was to be the first choice provider when it comes to leadership and communications, education's goals and all this as well. Basically, what it means is if anyone wants to improve on their leadership, they want to improve on their communication skills, I hope they think about Toastmasters first. At least in Brunei, East Malaysia, or Indonesia, people should think of Toastmasters as the number one choice.
Did you have a specific goal that you would like to achieve at the time, at the beginning of your term? Because I'm sure in Toastmaster, we all have goals like President Distinguished District or whatever. So what was your goal at that time?
As a district, the goal that we set was to hope that the district will become distinguished by the end of the term. But a clearer goal that I set for myself was by the time that we would celebrate at our annual conference, we would have all our leadership sorted out for next term. Because this is actually one of the challenges for a lot of districts around other places as well. Even within our region, we have challenges finding our successors or so on and so forth. So for me, district level, distinguished, that is a very clear goal. Everybody wants to be distinguished, but on a clearer or more specific goals would be by the end of the term, even before we start the term, most leadership role for the SDs or for the division director, area director should be set for next term already, which means the succession planning is done properly. So that was my main goal as a district director.
And have you achieved your goals?
Yes, I'm actually quite glad to say that we actually achieved our goal. And I was even more pleased to find out that we are able to sort out more than half of our area directors for next term before the beginning of the term. So a lot of things have been put in place. The transition was smooth. We were able to have our retreat just about 2 weeks ago that we're able to discuss and tell the incoming team what to expect for as well.
But Allen, although you achieve your goal, you have your area director sorted out at the time of the district meeting, but wouldn't it be actually better if you schedule it at a later date so these area directors candidates can participate in the contest actually? Because by having it too early, they are eliminated for the contest. So in one way, I would say that it hinders people to compete in the contest and have to choose for area director, while actually you can do the area director later after the district contest, and they are not eliminated to participate in the contest. So it was a little bit of maybe on your part, you achieve your goal, but maybe at the inconvenience of those people who aspire to participate in the contest. What's your take on that?
I actually have the same questions posted. I think it was in 2015 as well. That time I was running for area director and I wanted to compete as well at the same year. So I actually posted the same questions to my area governor back then and also the district leader team and asked them, hey, why would you want me to choose one? Can I just compete first? And then later on, if I don't succeed in my contest, then maybe I can come back and serve as a area governor or area director. But what I was told that time was, of course, you want to do that, you can. But different areas at that point in time, sometimes they want to sort out the district leadership slightly earlier. They prefer to make sure that things are put in place slightly earlier because we talk about consistencies, we talk about successions to avoid unnecessary, let's say, hiccups and all this as well. Personally, I am someone who loves competing and I love speech contests. So it would be hard to find a solution that fits both at the same time. There would be so many other factors involved as well. Let's say during the contest, some of the contestants knew that I wanted to run for area directors, area director at that point in time. They would question the integrity of the judges as well. Hey, I know you guys would know that Allen will be running for the area director. Is it because he will be running, that's why you are favoring him for the scorings and all this as well? So in order to avoid unnecessary conflict or questionings of the integrities of the judges, so on and so forth, then I understood why at that point in time they wanted to make sure that Allen, choose which one you want to go for. If you really want to go for a contest, don't take up any leadership role that does not allow you to do so, but you can choose other leadership roles as well. For instance, TLI chair, some other extended team, which allows you to take on a leadership role and also at the same time able to compete. So that's my take. It's hard to satisfy both ends, but I need to make a decisions. And I think that is one of the things that I have to learn as well while serving as a district director.
Yeah, because I think like some division, I see that they really not looking for area director after the contest, and they could fulfill that roles well as well. So I hope for the present district director would consider that scheduling. I would say that not to encourage, or I would say to give the opportunity to have the area director after the contest. So we will have more candidates. And I would say there was no conflict because a lot of people might be afterthought after they joined the contest and they thought, well, okay, then, now that it's over, that I would like to present myself as a candidate for area director. So I hope that Silva, who will be your successor, will take that into account. For me, I'm someone who is pro to have the area director after the contest because then you give the opportunity for people to compete, and then at the same time, if they don't win, they still have the opportunity to become area director. So it's something to consider. So I would appreciate if Silva was considering it. Yeah, and you just passed your district director. Do you still have something which you would like, or what you have done, or what you would like to do if you continue as district director?
Oh, that's a good question. If the term get extended beyond 12 months, would there be more things that I wanted to do? I think the answer would be yes. If you give me 14 months, I would still say that by the end of 14 months, I wish we have more time to do even more things. But I think the beauty of having a 12 months as a term is that you recognize that time is always limited. You're only able to fulfill a few things. And part of the growth is understanding that some of the things that you started might not end, or you might not see the results during your term. It has to happen the next term and the future term as well. So on that note, I wouldn't change anything. I would say that I'm happy with what I've done with the 12 months. Of course, there are things that I wish I could have done better, but I think the incoming term are more than equipped to finish whatever we started, not just I, but what we started from the past few terms as well. So it's a journey for everyone who stepped in as a district director to understand that it's a temporary role of I will be in charge for this 12 months right now. I will do whatever I can, set the scene and set the stage properly for whoever comes in later for the next 12 months. So if we are able to do so, I think the district would move forward as a team. And even what you mentioned earlier on, Rona, I think it's a good recommendation as well. And things does not change over one term. If what they have mentioned about area directorships and also a contest and all this, if we continuously push for that, I think it will happen in due time. And this would happen even if it's not last term, not this term. Eventually, it will, as long as more and more people realize that, hey, what you've mentioned makes sense and it can actually help and promote more or better quality leadership. Why not? Because the decision can be made collectively as a group. So that's my take on that one.
Okay, thanks. I think for the past term, what you have done, and you cannot change on that. But can you specifically say that this is something that I would like to do if I have more time? So we can all know that maybe Silva can also continue with your vision if there is something that she'd like to continue, but at least to share what you think that you would like to do or something which you have started but you have not finished it.
I think if I have more time, not really more time, but I wish I could do it more consistently. We were able to run some good panel discussion. In fact, we were able to run one good panel discussion that we had speakers, not just only from our district, we're able to have invited speakers from Australia, and we're also able to invite our past member from District 87 who is now residing in Singapore. So for them to come into the same panel and share with people how they feel and what they learn and how Toastmasters actually help them outside of Toastmasters, which means in their daily life and their career, I think those kind of panel was of high quality and it actually impacted a lot of people. I wish I could be more consistent with that, meaning make it into a quarterly project and instead of just like one-time thing, oh, I got it done, and then move on to the next one. So consistency would be something that I wish I could have done a little bit better.
Okay, thanks for sharing. So maybe there is something, an input with Silva or the existing district director maybe can take to consider. Okay, thank you. Do you think that you are a successful district director and why?
Actually, this is the question that I fear the most. It's as if people are asking you, do you think you're good? It's like, okay, which one should I answer? Of course, the more democratic answer will be, it all depends on my team. If they think I'm a good leader, then I'm a good leader. But if I were to look at myself objectively, I felt that at least I done my part to give the best that I can. Even towards the last 1 week, we were still resolving some conflicts within some divisions as well. And I'm glad that the result came out quite positive. And in that sense, I feel that I see myself as quite okay. I think I do well as a district director because my team are quite okay with me. So far, my team doesn't come to me and say they don't like of certain things. They might talk behind me. I hope they don't. But most feedback has been quite encouraging. And I think if you were to ask me what determines as a good district director or a good leader, would be how much people would be willing to talk about how you impacted their life even after your term. So maybe 2-3 years from now, I will get to know better if I was a good district director. Maybe 2-3 years from now, people who step up to take on leadership role, if they mention about anything that I've done well during my term, I think that would be a better indicator. Let's leave the verdict to 2-3 years later. So for whoever who's going to take the role in the future, and they give me a verdict whether I was a good district director last term.
Yeah, because sometimes when we put a foundation, it takes time to develop and get result. So far, we have been talking about the success and your job as district director. But I'm sure as a district director, you face challenges and obstacles. So maybe if you can discuss your challenges and obstacles and how do you overcome it and what's the result?
So there is one that I can share. We had requests from clubs wanting to relocate to another division. And when that happened, of course, a lot of people have to get involved with. We are talking about a club. We're talking about area directors, division directors from current term, from last term and also the incoming term. We need to talk about on the district level, is it feasible for us to move one club to the other, to align them to another division, just like that. So there was a lot of discussion mentioned. I was also able to reach out to my region advisor to ask for her feedback as well. To put it in a better context, the whole conversations from the beginning of request for realignment to until it was resolved, I think it was within a week, and there was a lot of conversations happening. I can't disclose a lot of the conversations in between, but what I can say was in the beginning, people were not happy with how the kind of support that they're getting. And what I mentioned immediately during that session was I actually took responsibility for that, because even though it is not directed to me, but I think if it happens during my term, I think I have to bear responsibility, because if there was any club that felt that they did not get enough support, the district director needs to be the one to shoulder the blame. And I think I did exactly that. So I told them, I apologized to them, saying that, if somehow they felt like they did not get the right support, I should be the one be responsible for it. But what has been done has been done. We want to know what can we do to move forward. So we actually have a very open discussion. It was only supposed to be 30 minutes. It ended up being a Zoom call for 3 hours. And in that 3 hours, we talk about the challenges that they faced in the past, the desired outcome that they want to have in the future, and what they truly intend to have was actually not alignment. What they truly wanted to have was a stronger support from the district team. What they wanted to have was people to hear them. And then what they really wanted was they want to have a better environment for their members. And I thought this was a good intention, good initiative. And after back and forth discussion, we came to an agreement that it is a problem, or it was more of an issue of leadership, which I think I need to shoulder a lot more of those. And I took that as a note for future terms as well, telling them that, hey, if one of our clubs is feeling this way, there might be other clubs that might felt the same way, but they have not voiced out yet. So let's just keep an ear out in case if anything were to happen, we are more ready to handle situations like this. So the situations ended up in a very good note. Everybody was happy. We created a WhatsApp group chat. And so even now, we still keep in touch and say, hey, how are things going? So this happens in less than a month ago. And now we are still in contact. And I hope that the club would still be doing well. I will still do my part as an immediate past district director to continuously provide them support. If they need anything, I'll still be just a text message away. So from that itself, I think, there are things that I'm learning as well. Not a perfect person. And I think during the interview that we had during the beginning of the term, I also mentioned to you that becoming a district director is not just only about taking up the leadership role, but there's also a place where you get to learn your weaknesses as well. Sometimes, as much as you don't want to go heads on with conflict, you just need to learn that you need to confront and you need to take on the responsibilities and make a decision that it might favor someone. Sometimes people might not be happy, but you still need to make a decision and live with a decision and be willing to take responsibility from it, rather than just hiding behind the scene and say, nope, that's the area director roles, or nope, that's the division director role. So that was my learning, and that was something that I can share with you all, one of the things that happened and how we overcome it.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Allen. That's a very good sharing. And I would like to ask you, I think now that your term is over, what experience or key takeaway that you get from your term as district director?
Key takeaway number one, key takeaway that I took from becoming a district director is you really need to learn how to delegate tasks. Not just only delegate tasks, but being able to delegate and do a consistent follow-up. I think I'm quite good in the first part, which is delegating. I need more work on following up more consistently. Because sometimes when you delegate it, it's out of sight, out of mind. You forgot to check back. And so the first takeaway from me is not just only delegate, but make sure that we're able to follow up consistently. So that's the first key takeaway. Second key takeaway that I can share with everyone from becoming a district director is you need to know how to take on the hit when it comes in. So it's not always just bed and roses. You can't just tell people that it's going to be great, it's going to be good, you will have fun. Leadership is all about roses. You will always have good days. No, I don't think that's the way. I think you should always be willing to be vulnerable and tell people that you struggle as well. Everyone struggle. In fact, there are 100 plus. There's so many district directors where we have a group chat. I see them sharing all their struggles, but everyone is sharing behind the scene. Nobody is sharing up front. And sometimes people tell me that, no, don't share all these things. You must only share positive things. And I choose to disagree. I think as a leader, sometimes it's good to share your struggle as well, because only when people can relate to you struggling and they see how you overcome it, they may be inspired to do the same thing. So these are the two main key takeaways that I can share with you from my term as district director. This is like things that I want to keep in my mind. Number one, delegate and always consistently follow up on what you delegate out. Number two, be willing to share what you struggle, be transparent, be vulnerable in front of your team. Most importantly, in front of your team, you must be vulnerable.
So what's the benefit of being a district director? And is it something as you expected?
I'm actually expecting this question from you. The benefits. Well, being a district director during the COVID time, you don't talk much about the benefits. A lot of things that people don't talk about is, you get to travel. You get to travel to different clubs in different countries, of course, to do TRIs and all this. You get to meet people. You get to travel to the States for trainings, for leadership trainings. You get to attend annual conferences. They cover for some of the costs as well. So these are the things that not many people talk about. I can talk about it because I don't get any of those benefits, of course, because of COVID. But I think if I look beyond that, there's a lot of benefits to be a district director. The learning is tremendous. A lot of people really underestimated the learning that you get by being in the positions of a district director or even any leadership role. Let me give you an example. I run my own businesses as well. So in your business, sometimes you need to chair a meeting. You need to make a decision, and you don't have a rehearsal in your business. You run a board meeting, AGM, there is no rehearsal. But in Toastmasters, by becoming a district director, when you run your AGM, your EGMs, and you chair any meetings, you actually improve on your chairing skill. And you learn a little bit more about parliamentary procedures. And all these skills and knowledge that you've gained, you can actually transfer them to your career, to your business. And it allows you to be so much calmer and so much more composed when you're executing your role in real life. So what I see as the main benefits of becoming a district director is actually able to bring all the skill sets that you gain to your career. And when you go back to your career, chairing any meetings, running town halls for yourself, for your team, or even for your clients, is just so much easier because now you know what might go wrong. And more importantly, how do you overcome it when things doesn't go your way? So that, I think, is a key main benefit that I've gained from becoming a district director.
Yes, so there is the practicality of leadership in practice. Like
very much.
Always said in Toastmasters.
I think that's why the tagline where leaders are made, right? I don't think it really means like leaders are made during your term. I think where leaders are made, you pick up the skills and then you bring the leadership skills outside of Toastmasters to your daily life, to your career. I think that's what that means, because during that one term, you're still learning. So I think it's still a work in progress. It's not a finished product yet.
Yes, thank you. And for those people who probably was thinking or maybe could inspire to become a district director, can you share what's the normal path to become a district director?
So for anyone who wanted to become a district director, right? I think, of course, we need to understand first what are the qualifications, what are the criteria that you should fulfill before you can serve as a district director. And as any member, you must at least serve as a club president for at least 6 months. And on top of that, you must already serve for 12 consecutive months, which means 1 year, one full term as either a PQD, a CGD, a division director at any point in time. So as long as you have done a division director and above, and you have actually served as a club president, then you are eligible to become a district director. So what I would strongly encourage is any member who come in here, if you are a very, very new member, enjoy your time as a member first. Immerse yourself in all those learning, in all those pathways, because you don't want to become a district director and when any questions that was being thrown to you, you go blank. You must experience it first. Experience a full term as a member, as a club exco, serve as a club president. You understand what are the struggles or what are the challenges that any club is facing. Once you're done with that, step up to be an area director. Or if the opportunity is not there for area director, go even further to become a division director. So once you become an area director or a division director, you get to see things on a bigger perspective. In fact, the biggest learning curve comes from being an area director, not club president, not division director. Area director has one of the toughest jobs because you need to take care of so many clubs. You need to help the clubs directly, and yet at the same time, you need to kind of manage the relationship between the club and also the district. So the learning curves at an area director is tremendous, and I would strongly encourage anyone to try out to be an area director. And once you fulfill that, you can move up to become a division director and even go further into the SDO team. Before you become a top 3, find an opportunity to serve in the extended team. For instance, for all the club growth director, they always have the extended team. They would have like people who help them to scout for new clubs, people who help to charter clubs. Even for the PQD team, you have TLI chairs, so on and so forth. Volunteer yourself to serve on those extended team, and you have a better understanding how the district operates. Then when you are ready, run and tell people. Most important, you must tell people that you want to be a district director. I realized that a lot of people don't want to tell people. They're so afraid to tell people that, oh, I want to be an area director, or I want to be a division director, or I want to be a district director. If you don't tell, nobody would know. And when nobody knows, they don't know who to support. So if you tell them your intention in the early time, they know that, let's say Allen or Rona, they want to run. Initially, they hope to become a district director. If there's opportunity, let's pass it to them. Mm-hmm. So when you open yourself up and tell people you would wish one day to serve in the district team, I think people would be willing to give you more opportunity to learn. And that's what happened to me as well. That's how the TLI chair came about. That's how area directorship came about. That's how all the other opportunity came about for me to learn and understand about the district a little bit better.
Okay, thanks for the sharing. I think that is very important information for those of us who are relatively new and also even for the seasoned Toastmasters members. Before we close, is there anything which you would like to convey which I have not covered yet at this point?
I think if there's anything, just if I can, leave some, if you have watched this whole podcast and you're thinking that, well, there's so many things that have been mentioned, what would be the one most important key takeaway, or at least you can remember about is, Toastmasters is very special in the sense that the more you give, the more you're able to receive. And if you wish to receive more knowledge or more skill sets in terms of communication and leadership skills, please make yourself available and volunteer for a lot more roles, because it is almost like a mirror. the more you give in, the more you receive. Maybe not now, maybe in the future term, or maybe not in the future term, but it will come back to you in your daily life or in your career. So you will definitely gain something from it, either experience, either skill sets, or even you will gain friendship as well. So I hope everybody will be more open to giving Toastmasters platform a try and continuously keep in touch with anyone else that you have met, because don't burn all these bridges. All these relationships are important to you. People come to your life for a reason, whether you start off on a good foot or you start off in a very bad taste, but eventually they come to your life for certain reasons. And I think for that itself, we should cherish whoever we meet in Toastmasters. So that's what I hope to convey to everyone. And thank you so much, Rona.
Thank you very much. I think there is a very good quote. The more you give, the more you get. And I think there is also a quote from Grant Cardone, I think. So that is very good. And that is very true in life, because the more you give, the more you get. And I will just summarize what we have conversed. I think the district director have posed satisfaction and challenges in your leadership experience. You share with us the obstacles and the challenges and what your goals, and you feel that you have achieved your goals, but if something you could do more, then you have like the panel discussions that you would like to do in the future. So overall, there's a lot of takeaway for being a district director. Share, and the more you give, the more you get. Thank you, Allen. And
thank you, Rona.
Say goodbye to Allen Ang, our past immediate district director. And I'm Ronawati Wangsa. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.